I've been a citizen of the Kodiak community for 10 years, and my family comes from Texas. I remember one of the most striking things about this place is how beautiful it was here, and the trees just were something that I greatly appreciated, coming from a land that is full of cactuses and thorny bushes. And when I came back home after being gone for 3 months, I was very shocked to see the amount of trees that were being cut down. And later I found out that they were cutting down in Chiniak, and they have just piled up these trees right along Bell's Flats, a residential area, and they're just sitting in the docks. And I had no idea that they were planning to cut down trees here, because I've never seen them do that before. And so when I came back, I made it a point to find out why they were doing this, who was doing this, and how it was going to affect the Kodiak environment as a whole. And if the people that were doing this were taking into the factors of how the small amount of trees of Sitka spruces that inhabit Kodiak Island. In fact, actually, Sitka spruces only inhabit the northeastern portion of Kodiak, including the rounded city of Kodiak and a fog neck. And beyond that, there are no trees in Kodiak, no other trees beyond this area. And I learned that the people that were cutting down trees was the Lesnoi Tribal community that whose authenticity was being investigated for about 33 years until last year, which they were found by the Supreme Court to be an authentic tribe. But the tribe claims to be a part of Woody Island, a small island that's just off the coast of, or just right across from downtown Kodiak here. And there's also another tribe on that island. Now, most people that are part of the Lesnoi tribe don't in fact live on Kodiak. They are not community members here. They don't come here often, or this is not their home year round. And I learned that the Lesnoi company has a lot of land out in the Chiniak area, and they have been cutting down trees. They started in about 1990s, and when they first proposed the project to cut down trees in that area, the restrictions were a lot different in the 90s than it is today. After people have after more lumber restrictions have went on. Now, though they're going through the consulting company that they are going through is A1 Consulting through a Washington State company, and they're planning to cut down all these trees and sell them to. They usually don't sell them to the community or anywhere in Alaska. It goes off to actually in Asia and Japan and Korea and China. And overall, they are planning to do clear cutting in this area, which cuts down all trees indiscriminately. The strong trees that have started the forest in that area, the small younger trees, just taking a plot of land and cutting everything down. Now, there's a lot of controversy over clear cutting. The University of West Virginia goes over and talks about how there are a lot of myths and some that aren't necessarily true. Clear cutting is not necessarily the worst type of lumber extraction. It's the way that they cut the tree that often affects it. Not necessarily just clear cutting in general, but how far from the root or in what part of the tree and what kind of saw they use affects it more so. But even if they use the proper way to do this, so the area can regenerate, there's some clear cutting is not for all forest environments. Clear cutting is ideal for trees that grow, that thrive with a lot of sunlight. And in these cases, it actually can help and benefit the forest to grow new trees and inspire more growth in forests. Though the Sitka spruce tree is a tree that thrives in shaded environments. The lifetime of Sitka spruce, it takes a long time for the Sitka spruce to regrow and for the seeds to spread. And clear cutting, because has not, the Lesnoi company has clear cutted before, during the 80s, and they have been working on regrowing land in Chiniak as well for the past 20, 30 years. And it has proven to be a very difficult process because the environment of Chiniak is very, there's a lot of rodents and deer that eat the sprucelings. And so it's very arduous work to regrow the forest on Kodiak. Now, because the spread of these trees and the harshness of and the difficulty of regrowing the Sitka spruce forest in Kodiak, I don't believe that it is that Lesnoi has considered all of that Lesnoi has Kodiak as a community and as the environment's best interest at hand. I believe that they are trying to cut down as much wood as they can, the fastest method as possible, and they are not considering the fact that the Chiniak community or the people that go along Broad Point where they're planning on cutting down trees that use that area as a recreational site. Clear cutting can also be a factor in wildfires and can inhibit the genetic integrity of the Sitka spruce trees, or trees in general, and can make them more susceptible to diseases or even pine beetles that have greatly detrimented other trees in central Alaska. Overall, I think there is enough evidence to say that clear cutting is not the best method for cutting down lumber in Kodiak. And as people of the community, I urge you to please to find out more information about this. And if there are more, and if they do start cutting down more trees, it could be detrimental, and there could be a risk at forest fires and the integrity of the spread of Sitka spruce trees in Kodiak. This tribe has not taken in the Kodiak community as a factor. I believe that what they're trying to do is trying to make a profit and not considering the costs on the entire community.